Alright, so Skool can probably make you rich, but only if you use it in this way, right? So a lot of people started Skool communities and thought that that's going to be their way out, especially when Hormozy invested into it. But they quickly realized that it's not how it's supposed to be and ran into a lot of problems. And so this is basically how people who are actually making money on Skool, this is how they use Skool, right? This is how basically they have generated hundreds of thousands of dollars for their coaching programs, for their info businesses by using Skool in the right way. And so I'm going to show you how to use Skool in the right way so you can also basically use it to grow your info business, your coaching business, and go from there, right? So first of all, if you think that I'm going to make a $47.97 community and that is basically what's going to make me rich, and that's basically how it is supposed to be on Skool, well, you are mistaken, right? The thing is that for sure $20, $47, $97 a month community can work, but it only works first of all if you have a very large audience, right? And so the thing is that most of the people who are watching this video, you probably don't have a large audience, and probably it takes less time to build a niche specific audience than actually having a million followers. And probably still, even if you have a million followers and you're sending people to $47 or $97 a month community, you're probably making less money than the person who has 5k 10k followers on in YouTube in a specific niche and they're selling high ticket, right? And so instead of selling 104 people on a $97 community and making 10k, the reason why this plan, the reason why basically this plan, which basically a lot of people had, and oh, you have to just find 100 people and send them on a $97 community and you have 10k and you get rich, you have passive income. The thing is that a lot of people that they don't tell you is that first of all, you'll have so much churn, right? People who are actually paying you $47 a month or $97 a month, they are not staying more than a month or two, and so you're constantly hunting new people. It doesn't just builds on top of it. That's a lie, right? Because there is churn. You have to do something every single month. You have to bring new content. You have to bring something new. You have to bring some some guests. You have to provide constant value, otherwise people are not going to stay, right? The second thing is that the person who is paying you $47 a month or $97 a month is probably a low quality person, because he pays you 20 bucks or 47 bucks and he expects the world from you, right? Because in their mind basically 47 or $97 a month is a huge commitment. It's a huge thing to pay. And so because it's a huge thing to pay, they expect that basically all their problems are going to disappear. You're going to bring them the clients, you're going to do every single thing for them. And so it's not the kind of people that you want to work with, right? They have a lot of high expectations. The third thing is that you are going to be less motivated to actually do something for them, work with them more one-on-one, provide them every single thing. Because 47 bucks, 97 bucks, that's not a lot of money, and you probably know it, right? The amount of work that you're doing, the amount of actually value that you're providing, if they're paying you 47 bucks or 97 bucks, you're not going to be motivated to work with each one of them one-on-one and provide them the best results. Then because you're not that motivated, your actually offer is going to suck. You're not going to provide them the best value. And then finally, that because these people are low quality, they are low motivated, they're probably going to ask for returns and stuff, right? They are going to have complaints, they're going to ask for returns. It's not going to be pretty. So instead, it's much more better, it makes much more sense to actually sell 4 people on a 3k offer. And by the way, 3k is it's still high ticket, but it's not very high ticket, right? If you have of course this varies from niche to niche, but if you are operating in a good niche and you actually have value to provide, you have good results for yourself, you can easily charge 5k 6k for a high ticket offer. But let's just assume that you're selling a high ticket offer for 3K. You have to sell 4 people and that's already 12K, right? And the thing is that because people are paying you 3K, it's high quality. You know, they're going to be high quality people because they have actually invested with you. They're going to have high motivation because they have invested everything. They actually need to make it work, and so they'll be ready to put in the work. They'll be ready to actually do the work with you. Then, because they're paying you high ticket, now you can actually work with them more one on one. You can answer their questions. You can basically provide them more access to you, right? And so because you're working them with them more one on one, they have more access to you. It's the actual offer. If you're selling it for 3K, just by selling it for 3K, you are making it much more valuable, right? And then because you're working with them more one on one, because they're motivated, because they're high quality people, you're going to have better case studies, right? You're actually going to be able to provide them bring them good results, and because of that, it's just a better business to operate, right? And so the thing is, then the first question that arises is that why, like, if you're wondering, right, if you haven't sold high ticket till now and you're wondering, well, why would someone pay 3K? Well, it all depends on your offer. So let me give you an example, right? So this is just a random example that, for example, you're a content creator who makes content about video editing and how video editors can basically get their clients and stuff and how they can actually start making money with it. Now, your offer can be something like how to use the X method to make 5 to 10K per month as a video editor in the next 90 days without spamming cold DMs, or I work with you for free until you do. Now, the reason why this offer can sell easily for 3K, you can sell it for 5K even. And the thing is that, first of all, it's tangible. You're not telling them that I'm going to make you rich. That doesn't work. You're telling them that I'm going to make you 5 to 10K per month as a video editor in the next 90 days. Now that is something that can be tracked. That is something that can, actually be, once again, tracked. It's a metric, it's tangible, right? And the second thing is that you are coming up with a strong guarantee that if I don't bring you the result, I will work with you for free until I actually make you the 5 to 10K per month. So that's a strong guarantee, right? And so the strong guarantee works as a safety net, because the thing is that if someone is investing 3K, it's a big purchase, right? And so what they want is they want to make sure that it's actually not very risky, that it basically is a very good investment for them, right? And so therefore what your guarantee does is that it acts as a safety net for them, right? You take the risk away from them and you bring it on yourself. And the third thing is that with high ticket, you are giving them one-on-one access with you. Now, if you are in the beginning, right? If you, for example, you have just a couple of clients, or maybe you are planning on launching your info business, and let's say that you are basically right now, you can have one-on-one mentorship. You can hop on one-on-one calls and it's completely fine. But then as you grow, as it becomes bigger and bigger, you can make it more scalable, because people don't actually care about the one-on-one calls. All they care about is that they have one-on-one access to you. And so that one-on-one access can be something like, you can text me at any time and I'll answer it as soon as possible. You can have my calendar, and if you need, we can hop on a one-on-one call, right? And that's how you make it more scalable. But the thing is that one-on-one access is what makes it worth 3K or 5K or 6K or 10K, right? Whatever high ticket offer, whatever high ticket price you're thinking about, right? Because the actual information is valuable, right? You might have your secret techniques, you might have your methods, but the thing is, most of it is either already available through YouTube, through free content, or basically someone else can also have it, right? Somebody who is operating in the same niche, who is serving the same ICB, can also usually provide them the same information as well. And so they're buying it for you. And so the one-on-one access is so valuable, because if you think about it, what people really want, what people really pay for, is the validation. They just want to make sure that what they're doing is the right thing and they're not wasting their time, and they have that little doubt that basically is this going to work, am I doing the right thing, and you just by texting them or just by telling them that you are doing the right thing, you're on the right path, you just have to do it more, that's worth much more for them, right? So that's how you actually sell the high ticket. Now the question thing comes back to that basically, well, where does Skool comes into the play, right? How does a high ticket has anything to do with Skool? Well, the thing is that right now, if you're making content, what you can do is, rather than thinking about Skool as the thing that you're selling, think about it as the funnel, right? So it's the place where you gather people and you bring together people. So from your short form content, this is how it usually goes. Basically, this is a funnel that 99% of the time is going to work for you, right? And the first thing is going to be that from your short form content, the short form content acts as the top of funnel. It brings the traffic, it brings a lot of cold traffic, people who might not already know that what exactly do you do, but know your name, they're aware of you, right? And so they are interested, you build their curiosity, you bring in additional cold traffic, right? And then you send that traffic to YouTube. This is actually where you warm up the audience. This is actually where you build that trust and you like the likability. Now, the Skool community that I was talking about is basically the free Skool community that you pitch people to. And inside this free Skool community, what you're doing is that you are, first of all, there are two main things that are happening over here. The first thing is, because you're funneling all of the people into this free Skool community, you can now contact them. So basically, let's say that if you're directly sending people from a YouTube to book a call with you, what happens usually is that if they don't book their first call the first time they actually go, and on the Calendly page, they are not coming back usually. And so with a free Skool community, what you can do is now you actually own that audience. So you can nurture them over time. You can be in contact with them, and you get a lot of chances to actually sell them over and over again until they are ready to buy, right? And so because most of the people, there is going to be about 15 to 20% of the people that basically are going to watch your content and they're going to buy. But the majority of the people are the people who need a little push, who maybe not, who are not ready to buy at the moment, right? And so you bring all the people in your free Skool community, and the second thing it does is that it builds that trust and likability even more. It nurtures the audience, it builds that trust and likability, and you get you get a chance to actually show them what they're missing out on, right? So for example, Skool has so let me give you an example. So for example, over here, just a random Skool community, you have your basically classroom. Now you can see that there are plenty of courses, right? And so you, for example, want to view this because of course this is stuff that is helpful to your ICP, to your students, but they cannot access this until basically they actually buy your stuff, right? They actually buy your offer, right? And so it builds that curiosity. You can share your students' win over there, right? And now the actual thing which a lot of people struggle with is that from that free Skool community, how do you actually make sure that it does not just become a random community which is filled with spam, and how do you actually convert this free traffic into paying clients? And so let me show you exactly how. So let's say that you have your new applicant. This is basically the person who comes in, and what you're going to do is that you're first of all not letting anyone in. You are going to actually qualify these people, and so you're going to ask them for their email, name, phone number, financial basically question. It is an optional question, right? And the thing is that, for example, if you know that most of your clients, most of your students come from US, UK, Europe, maybe Canada, this kind of area, then any person who is not from that area, you don't let them in, right? Or maybe you have this financial question, and people who don't qualify, I won't suggest it, but basically this financial question, what it does is that it tells you whether it's a person who is ready to buy right now, or whether they need time to actually nurture them and buy in the future, right? And so once they come in, you have a lot of methods. The first thing that you should do is opt them into some kind of welcome email sequence. And so this is a sequence of emails which basically introduces them to you. It warms them up. It basically gradually soft sells them into actually buying your stuff, right? So this is the first way. The second way is, because you have actually collected their phone number, you can probably send them an SMS as well as basically a DM on Skool. So basically Skool has an option to send automatic DMs as well as soon as they join, and that can just spark the conversation and you can go from there. And the third thing is, because you have collected their phone number, and this is high level advanced stuff, but if you actually are serious about building and scaling your info business, this is something that's going to make you so much money. And that's, you have a setter inside the community whose job is to dial the leads as soon as they come in, right? And so for example, maybe you have the financial question, and this financial question can either be just be that what you're currently making with whatever you're doing, whatever job you're in, or it can be something like with this specific skill that you are doing. So for example, if it's video editing, or for example, if it's copywriting, or it's drop shipping, or it's a particular skill, whatever it is, right? How much are you making with this particular skill right now? And if they are in the range where they are your ICP, they can buy right now, then the setter dials them immediately, right? And so the point of all of these methods is that basically the appointment setter carries the conversation to eventually book a call with them. And then apart from that, this is once again advanced level stuff, but it's going to make you a lot of money if you actually execute it in the right way. And that's that the new applicant, you have basically webinars inside your Skool community, and this can be once a week, or this can be once or twice a month, right? Whenever you want to do it. And what you do is that first of all, you promote it on your socials, your YouTube, your Instagram, if you're in TikTok, or wherever it is, and you basically tell people, you pitch it not as a VSL, you pitch it not as a webinar, but actually as something valuable, where you're actually going to teach them, right? And you basically tell people that the only way you can get access to this webinar is if you join the Skool community. And so that's going to grow the Skool community as well, because they're actually incentivized to buy it. And then if they basically actually on this webinar, what you're doing is you have your whole pitch deck or your slide ready, and it's basically just a disguised VSN. You're actually going to provide them value, but what you're actually doing is you're sharing case studies. You're basically selling them on three things. You're selling them on yourself, that you actually know what you're talking about. You're actually the authority. And the second thing you're selling them on is themselves, telling them that this is something that can work for them. This is something that basically they can do, right? Because most of the people, they buy themselves out of something by telling themselves, by lying to themselves that this worked for other people, but this is not going to work for me, right? And so you sell them on themselves. And the third thing you sell them on is the actual vehicle, that why is this the best thing to go for rather than 100 other things that they are getting pitched on, right? And that's the main point of the webinar. We can make a whole video on that as well. But from there, you basically send them to some kind of type form if you're actually selling a high ticket offer. If you're selling something mid ticket, which I don't suggest, but you maybe have a downsell for people who don't qualify for high ticket, you can directly send them to sales page. But if you're selling high ticket mentorship, you send them to some sort of type form, you qualify for themselves, and you once again bring the appointment setter, they dial them, book a call, you sell them on the call. So this is how you actually make money with Skool. It's not by selling a $97 or $47 a month community. It's by using it as a middle of funnel, where you bring all the people and you basically nurture them over time. and then you actually eventually nurture them to book a call. You build that basically curiosity, that hype inside the Skool community, and you bring them on the call, you sell them on the mentorship or your info business, whatever your offer is. Now, if you are a coach, creator, consultant who already has an audience around one specific niche, and you're either looking to now actually launch your info business, your mentorship, or maybe you already have it, but you're actually looking to scale this thing up so you can actually make significant amount of money without actually worrying about all this boring stuff, technical stuff, and basically the systems and the back end and the automation and all the stuff that you actually need and manage in order to make this work, then I have a free consulting call down below. I don't sell any coaching. I don't sell you $5,000 course. We are going to discuss your business and how you can actually launch your info business or how you can scale it. And if you don't qualify that, if you don't already have an audience, then you can just follow me on IG and DM me. I'm going to answer as many questions as possible, and also subscribe to this channel. Thank you.